When you pull up to the Green Gables homestead off Route 6 and just west of Route 13, you're going to see the pages of a fictional book truly come to life. That's because Green Gables was the inspiration for Lucy Maud Montgomery's classic novel, Anne of Green Gables. In real life, the house belonged to cousins of Montgomery's grandfather, and although she never lived there, she did her fair share of exploring around it. Her findings stuck with her, places like Lover's Lane and Haunted Wood.
She grew up in Cavendish. Something she loved to do was explore, and she sort of outgrew the farm she was living on, pretty early. She loved to go. She was, living pretty close to the shore of the Gulf of St. Lawrence, so she spent a lot of time walking along the shore. And then just across the road from where she lived was this grove of spruce trees. So when she was about 8 years old, she and some young friends of hers conjured up the idea of the spruce grove being haunted, so it became the Haunted Wood. And then a few years after that, on an old cow path just behind her cousin's farmhouse that you see behind us, she started walking on that cow path, but saw it as being something much more, so she called it Lover's Lane. And so that was when she was about 12 years old. Mind you, she didn't write Anne of Green Gables until she was in her early 30s. And when she did that, she basically chose her cousin's farm to be the setting in the book. It's a fictional story, but the setting is very much based on what you see around you here.
In 1937, the National Park purchased the home, but it wasn't until a few years ago that the house was restored to the way it stood when the farm was first settled in 1831.
So within the last 5 years, Parks Canada has restored the farmscape, I guess you'd call it. So now, aside from the original house, we have rebuilt the barn and some of the smaller outbuildings, the granary and woodshed. So what people see when they enter the farmyard now is pretty much what the author saw when she started coming here, as a child, and also what she describes in her novel.
There are 2 interpretive trails just behind the house that will give you a little more insight into Green Gables and the fictional settings Montgomery created. The Balsam Hollow Trail begins at Lover's Lane and is about half a mile in length. It's this trail that shows Montgomery's strong connection to the environment and the amount of inspiration she drew from it.
You might be able to hear songbirds in the background right now, and one would hear them even more down on the trail. And then there's a stream too that meanders through that particular woodland. So there's a lot of opportunities to cross that via bridges, and you can stop and see the brook trout.
The Haunted Brook tells quite a different story, partly because its white spruce trees don't offer as much light as those on the Balsam Hollow Trail.
When you first walk into it, you can see why the author called it that, because it's pretty much just that type of tree. They're pretty tall. Some of them are dead and have fallen down, and there's a lot of creaking. So, even in the middle of the day, it can seem like it could be haunted.
The Haunted Wood Trail is about half a mile in length. The interpretive signs along the way help explain how Montgomery became an author. Besides walking the trails behind the house, visitors are also welcome to enter and view the historical items on display. And if you're worried about where to park, don't be. Doug's got it all covered.
As people arrive at Green Gables, of course they arrive at our parking lot. It's really a series of 4 conjoined lots, and a large part of one of those is dedicated to RVs, or cars with trailers. And I believe we have 10, 11, or 12 full-size spots down in that lot, so we have ample parking.
So when you're touring the Cavendish area by RV, pull your home up to Anne's. You can let your imagination run as wild as hers did in the literature that generations have grown to